of Assembly members who defected on very wrongful ground against the very provisions of the Constitution. We're also requesting that the court order INEC to conduct the by-elections, which they should have already rolled out the calendar for within the next 90 days. If they were honorable men, as at now, they should have already honorably resigned those seats because they are running contrary to the provisions of the Constitution. That is why we have gone to court.
Well, Mr. Wellington said the Labour Party is also asking the court to interpret some sections of the Constitution bordering on defection.
These lawmakers tend to want to make it seem as though we live in a banana republic where we do not have a constitution. But we actually have a constitution and the dictates are very clear. So why shouldn't they abide by the provisions of that constitution? Section 109 sub 1G, which makes it very clear that they have vacated or lost their seats by that singular act of defection from PDP to the APC. So we are asking the court to interpret this section.
Well, recall that 27 PDP lawmakers defected to the APC on 11th December 2023, citing division within the PDP as reason for their defection. Moving on, train operations from Port Harcourt to Aba will begin before the end of March, 2 years after it was suspended. The managing director of Nigeria Railway Corporation, Fidet Okiria, made this known to newsmen in Port Harcourt shortly after test running the reconstructed rail track from Port Harcourt to Aba and Port Harcourt ports.
No, we'll be able to run, at least carry people from Port Harcourt to Aba by the end of the month. For the Port Harcourt linking, they are doing that. We left some people there working there. This evening, they will come up with, the design team will come up with the timeline to connect from the point just ahead here. We also have to link that. On the port is going to be a brand new thing. So they have done and make some corrections and they'll go back and make the final design and bring it for approval. So when we went on train to go to and fro, you can see children trooping out, women trooping out and be say, which means they say of joy to have this rail service back.
Well, Mr. Okiria said train passengers should expect an increase in the fare from Port Harcourt to Aba.
If you can't pay enough based on the price of diesel now, what we are doing is providing service to Nigerians as one of the. No, it has been service to people. Rail is service to the people. So, but I know it's not going to be the same amount that we are paying before now. So, because we measure at least we should be able to sustain it. We can't pay 100%. At least we should be able to raise the money at least 50%. So that.
Correspondent Suebio Ruwari reports that Mr. Okiria, however, advised traders on railway tracks to leave before operations resume.
The issue is that market is not going to be business as usual. Nobody is going to slow down for anybody to remove his or her wear on the road. We run our time schedule, we run our trade to time, and it's an offense to be on the track. I don't want to be so that they don't say I don't care for people. I care for people, but we should always learn to do the right thing.
Recall that train operation from Port Harcourt to Aba was suspended at the Port Harcourt Railway Terminal following the rehabilitation and reconstruction of Port Harcourt Maiduguri Eastern Narrow Gauge Railway. Away from that, some stakeholders in Rivers State are faulting President Bola Tinubu's statement criticizing Tuesday's NLC protest, while Rivers State Chairman of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Alex Agwamo, says the organized labour is a pressure group that cannot be silenced. Mr. Agwamo spoke on Nigeria Info FM's Morning Crossfire today.
If the Labour should grant paper for 2027, we are not a political party. And honestly, if you check over the world, if anyone Labour has been in power in the name of affairs, the economy is far better than what we are seeing today in Nigeria. You can take reference for South Africa, go to England, where the Labour Party is in charge of affairs, of political affairs. We are not in politics. We are a pressure group. And whatever he has done can never silence Labour in Nigeria.
Also, an economist, Orwell Ntega, faulted President Bola Tinubu's claim that the protest was politically motivated. Dr. Ntega, a lecturer at the University of Port Harcourt, tells our correspondents that governments at all levels must create sincere measures to fix the nation's economy.
Nigeria Labour Congress' basic purpose is to enhance the welfare of their members. So with the current situation of things in the country, if their members are suffering because of high cost of living, that means their welfare has diminished over time. So they have the right to protest. Minimum wage is 30,000 naira. Inflation rate has been rising. What would 30,000 naira give an average worker in Nigeria? So why will you prove political correlation? People are suffering. Government has to be sincere about.
The Committee on the National Minimum Wage has called for the participation of stakeholders in proposing and implementing a new minimum wage for Nigerian workers, with the chairman of the National Salaries, Incomes and Wages Commission, Ekpo Nta, in a statement today, said the committee will hold a public hearing on 7th March. In another development, scores of women from Degema community staged a peaceful protest today at the Rivers State Government House. The protest is about the alleged killing of their children and relatives by members of a private security outfit, Amama soldiers, last weekend. And elsewhere, inmates at the Jos Correctional Center in Plateau State protested today over the plan to reduce their food ration. The controller of Corrections Plateau State Command, Raphael E.B. Nuhi, confirmed the incident, saying they fired tear gas and warning shots in the air to disperse the unruly inmates when they refused to return to their cells. Well, the Jos Correctional Center has over 1,000 inmates. Still to come, federal government fines crypto company Binance. Stay tuned.
The Smart Feed, coming to you from the
on crypto trading platform Binance over allegations of influencing the country's foreign exchange crisis. The special advisor to President Bola Tinubu on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, said this today in an interview with the BBC. Mr. Onanuga said Binance profited from its alleged illegal transactions in Nigeria while the nation suffered huge losses. He said Binance is not registered in Nigeria and has no presence in the country. Today is World Zero Discrimination Day, and a sickle cell carrier, Gideon Ugu, is calling for an end to discrimination against individuals with sickle cell anemia and other ailments like HIV and AIDS and breast cancer, among others. Mr. Ugu, in an interview with our correspondent, shared his experience on how he has faced discrimination.
Living with sickle cell anemia hasn't really been easy. Discrimination has become a part of my life. It's a daily routine for me. When I walk on the road, you see people running away from me. You find people saying things. This one still alive. He never died. People were stronger. And then they die. This one we supposed don't die since he died. Like, there used to be times when they come like that, I go crying, even thinking of committing suicide. In the general term, discrimination is not something advisable. Most of the times we even do this discrimination unknowingly.
Now, on her part, the chairperson, International Federation of Women Lawyers, FIDA, River State, Adata Bill-Briggs, urged Nigerians to end discrimination against women and across other dimensions such as race, ethnicity, and region.
In this our country, we have laws that prohibit discrimination. But despite this law, discrimination is still ongoing. This is a call to everyone to end discrimination in workplaces, schools, wherever you find discrimination. Let's just call on the general public, everyone out. That discrimination is something that even God does not approve of. We should live in a world free from discrimination. Let's try and have an equal playing ground. All we're asking for is gender equity. Let's have a level playing ground for everyone to be able to achieve what they need to achieve.
The theme for this year's World Zero Discrimination Day is Protect Everyone's Health, Protect Everyone's Rights. And on the international scene, hundreds of people who had been working in Myanmar's notorious scam centers have left on evacuation flights organized by China. The centers are estimated to hold hundreds of thousands of human trafficking victims, where money from the centers has poured into both crime and Myanmar's civil war. And that's the news this evening. But before we go, let's take a look at the highlights. On the news this evening, you heard that the Labour Party in River State has joined in suing the 27 defected lawmakers, and fares are to rise as train operations is set to resume from Port Harcourt to Aba. And on the foreign scene, China has repatriated hundreds of Myanmar scam factory workers. The news was edited by Martha Okerinkem. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808 721 7215. I am Constance Mega. Thank you so much for listening. Good evening.